Buried secrets and lost artifacts have puzzled experts for decades, leaving behind more questions than answers. From ancient tombs revealing out-of-place objects to shipwrecks holding treasures that defy their time, these discoveries challenge everything we thought we knew about history. Some finds are so bizarre that scientists still debate their origins, while others hint at advanced knowledge far beyond their era. This video explores 10 of the most ancient archaeological discoveries that scientists still can't explain. What hidden truths could these mysteries hold? Grave of Minoan man who died in 1400 BC. Imagine this. You're walking through an olive grove on a quiet day in Crete, the sun warm on your back, the scent of the trees in the air. Suddenly, someone discovers a hidden tomb 8 feet below the ground. Inside, the skeleton of a man who lived 3,500 years ago, during the time of the Minoas, the same people connected to the legendary Minotaur. This isn't just any burial. The man rested alongside cups, a wine-mixing vessel, and 15 amphorae containers, each one a time capsule of the Bronze Age. Now, who were the Minoans? They were a civilization so ancient that their roots trace back to about 2600 BCE. They thrived for over 1,000 years on Crete, building incredible palaces like Knossos, which might have inspired the tale of the labyrinth. You've probably heard the story of the Minotaur, the half-man, half-bull creature trapped in a maze. The Minoans, it seems, were as much a mystery to themselves as they are to us today. The grave, found by chance, was sealed in clay and divided into 3 chambers. Experts believe this burial held great significance. But why were these artifacts placed with him? Was he a nobleman? A warrior? The Minoans were known for their artistry and, surprisingly, their weaponry. Peaceful as it may seem in stories, they were fierce and formidable. Yet, even with all we've uncovered about them, so much remains unsolved. How did their society vanish so abruptly? Was it the eruption of Thera, the so-called Atlantis event? It's a puzzle, just like the labyrinth they're famous for. Huge golden horse head. Speaking of mysteries, let's journey north to Germany, where something golden and unexpected was found in a well. Picture this, a gleaming horse head, weighing 55 pounds, made of gold-plated bronze, buried under millstones and everyday items. It belonged to a life-size statue of Emperor Augustus, once displayed in a Roman settlement near Frankfurt. This settlement, called Waldgrammes, was a Roman hub right in the heart of what the Romans called barbarian territory. But things weren't always hostile. For years, the Romans lived together, trading and building. Archaeologists found Roman-style homes, workshops, and even a forum at Waldgrammes. Yet, harmony didn't last. In 9 CE, German warriors ambushed and annihilated 15,000 Roman soldiers in the infamous Battle of Teutoburg Forest. Afterward, the settlement was destroyed, its golden treasures, like the horse head, cast into a well. Why throw such a precious item away? Experts think it was a sacrificial act, a symbol of rebellion. The golden horse head lay hidden for almost 2,000 years until archaeologists unearthed it in 2009. Today, after a decade of restoration, it shines again, telling a story of ambition, defeat, and resilience. But here's the real question. What other treasures lie buried, waiting to rewrite history? 2,000-year-old underground city. And speaking of history hidden underground, let me take you to Turkey, where a man chasing his chickens stumbled upon something unbelievable. Imagine this, you're renovating your home and a chicken escapes through a hole in the basement wall. You knock the wall down to get it back, and suddenly you're standing at the entrance of an ancient underground city. That's exactly what happened in the 1960s in Cappadocia. The man found Derinkuyu, the largest excavated underground city in the world. This wasn't just a cave or a few rooms. It was a city that once housed 20,000 people, complete with stables, food storage, schools, wineries, and even a chapel. The tunnels stretched 280 feet deep, connecting 18 levels of underground life. What's even more mind-blowing, the ventilation system still works. Architects designed this city to withstand invasions, with narrow passages to force intruders into a single file and massive stone doors that could be opened from the inside. But who built this marvel? Some say it was the Hittites, around 1200 BCE. Others credit the Phrygians, and some believe it was expanded by early Christians seeking refuge. Over the centuries, it became a sanctuary for many civilizations, a fortress against invaders. By the 7th century, it reached its peak, sheltering thousands during Islamic raids. Today, Derinkuyu is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, open to visitors curious enough to step into its dark, winding tunnels. But even now, the city keeps its secrets. Who were the original builders? Why did they carve such a massive labyrinth into the rock? And what stories are still buried in its shadows? Swiss Ring Watch. And speaking of secrets locked away for centuries, let's talk about a sealed tomb in China that left archaeologists completely baffled. Imagine working on a 400-year-old Ming Dynasty burial site, brushing away layers of history, and finding a Swiss watch. Yes, a tiny, mud-encrusted ring watch with the word Swiss etched on the back. But here's the catch. The tomb had been sealed for centuries, untouched since the time of the Ming emperors. How could an object that couldn't exist before the modern era end up buried in such a place? The discovery, reported in 2008, created a storm of theories. Some people claimed it was proof of time travel, an artifact out of sync with its time. Others were more skeptical, suggesting the tomb might not have been as sealed as it seemed. Could tomb raiders or explorers have left it behind? There's no evidence of theft or damage, but the mystery remains. Another idea was that the tiny object could have been carried in by something as small as a rodent. Still, no clear answers have emerged. Was it a hoax? Or is this little watch a clue to something bigger we don't yet understand? Disc of Sabu. And while the Swiss watch left us scratching our heads, an ancient Egyptian artifact discovered in 1936 seems to have traveled from the future itself, or at least, that's how it looks. Archaeologists found the Sabu disc in a tomb at Saqqara, belonging to an official named Sabu who lived over 5,000 years ago during Egypt's first dynasty. The disc, made of slate, has a design so unique that modern engineers have studied it to figure out its purpose. With a diameter of 2 feet and 3 lobes extending from the center, it resembles something you'd see in a science fiction movie. Was it a wheel? A flywheel for machinery? A decorative piece? No one knows for sure. Theories about the Sabu disc range from the practical to the wild. Some say it might have been a container or even a ceremonial object. Others think that it was symbolic, representing something we can no longer understand. Engineers who studied relics of the disc even found aerodynamic qualities, but its fragile slate material suggests it wasn't used for anything functional. Whatever its purpose, the craftsmanship is remarkable, a testament to the skills of people who lived millennia before the pyramids were built. Codex Argentius. From ancient Egypt, we move to a treasure of the Gothic world. The Codex Argentius, or Silver Bible, is a shining example, literally, of the creativity and craftsmanship of a vanished people. Created in the 6th century, this lavish book was written in silver and gold ink on purple-stained parchment. It wasn't just a religious manuscript. It was a symbol of power and wealth, likely commissioned by King Theodoric the Great for the Ostrogoths. But like so many ancient artifacts, its journey through history was anything but smooth. After the fall of the Gothic kingdom, the codex vanished for 1,000 years. When it resurfaced in the 16th century, only 187 of its original 336 pages were intact. Since then, it has changed hands many times, from emperors to eccentric collectors. Each owner added to its mystique, like the Swedish count who gave it to its current silver cover. Today, the Codex Argentius sits protected behind bulletproof glass, its missing pages and 1,000-year disappearance still a mystery. Head of Hercules. Just like that, history throws us another curveball. Much like the marble head of Hercules, pulled from a Roman shipwreck near Antikythera, Greece. Imagine pulling a twice life-size marble head, complete with a thick beard and short curly hair from the seabed. That's exactly what happened when divers recently explored the depths of the world's richest ancient shipwreck. The Antikythera shipwreck, a Roman-era cargo ship, sank over 2,000 years ago. For decades, it's been a treasure trove of history, giving us bronze statues, glassware, and even the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient device known as the world's first analog computer. But it's not done revealing its secrets. This time, alongside Hercules' missing head, archaeologists recovered parts of the ship's equipment and even human teeth. Imagine the stories these teeth could tell about the ship's crew. Genetic tests might help us uncover who they were and where they came from. It's incredible how each dive into the wreck peels back layers of history, connecting us to people who lived and sailed centuries ago. 1,200-year-old Viking sword. Meanwhile, the mountains of Norway give us a find straight out of a Viking saga. A hiker stumbled across a Viking sword in perfect condition after it had been laying under the snow for over 1,200 years. The iron blade was likely owned by someone wealthy or powerful, a status symbol in an age where weapons like these were as rare as they were valuable. This sword, resting quietly on a mountain plateau, has managed to stay preserved through the centuries of frost and snow. Experts think it must have been part of a burial. Vikings often laid their dead to rest with their weapons, horses, and other possessions to take into the afterlife. Could this sword's owner have been buried nearby, now hidden by the shifting snow and glaciers? As global warming uncovers more and more artifacts from icy graves, the frozen history of the Vikings is coming back to life, one piece at a time. Viking-era cave network. And in Iceland, a vast and mysterious Viking-era cave network has archaeologists working to unravel its secrets. These man-made caves, found near the historic site of Oddi, are enormous, fragile, and filled with questions. The Oddverjar clan, who ruled the area over 1,000 years ago, were powerful leaders and patrons of Iceland's early literary culture. Could these caves have been used for their livestock, or perhaps something more symbolic? Some even connect the caves to ancient legends, like the story of the Bull Cave, which supposedly collapsed with 12 bulls inside. The caves have survived centuries of erosion and volcanic activity, but archaeologists are racing against time to study them before they crumble away. What they've found so far paints a picture of a thriving Viking community, steeped in myth and mystery, where each layer of volcanic ash reveals more about the people who lived and worked there. 4,000-year-old boat. Finally, let's sail south to Mesopotamia, where a 4,000-year-old boat was rescued from the ancient city of Uruk. This boat, made of palm leaves and wood sealed with bitumen, sank into a channel of the Euphrates River long before deserts replaced the lush marshes of the region. Buried under layers of sediment, the boat was surprisingly well preserved, its fragile remains stabilized with clay and plaster during excavation. Uruk was a city of firsts, the first writing, the first stone architecture, and the first massive urban center. This boat adds another layer to our understanding of how its people thrived along rivers and canals. It's incredible that this vessel, which once carried goods or passengers, now helps us navigate the rich history of a civilization that shaped the world as we know it. These discoveries are a doorway into the past, showing us how much we've yet to learn about the people who came before us. Which find surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. There's always more history waiting to be uncovered.